Come on in, pull up a chair, and take a load off, because today I'm going to share a bit of a how to play, as well as my review of Valeria Card Kingdoms from Daily Magic Games. Will you enjoy your time vying to become the next ruler of Valeria? Or should you just fold on these card kingdoms? Well, you're going to find out right after this. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang channel. As I mentioned in the open, today I am going to be reviewing and sharing a bit of a how to play for Valeria Card Kingdoms from Daily Magic Games. It's designed by Isaias Vallejo with artwork provided by The Miko. The game is for 1 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays around 30 to 45 minutes, and does carry an MSRP of $35. So let's swing on over to the other camera because I've got Valeria Card Kingdoms set up. So a couple of things I do want to mention before we dive in. First off, the fine folks over at Daily Magic Games were kind enough to provide me with this review copy, but neither I nor anyone else affiliated with the Gaming Gang has received any other sort of compensation for me to share my thoughts about this game with you. And these days, it's really important that you know that. Also want to point out that the game mat does not come with the core game. That was something else that Daily Magic Games sent along. It is dual-sided. It is actually designed for a couple of the boxed expansions for Valeria Card Kingdoms. But as you can see, you can easily use it for the core game. This does carry an MSRP of $20 and really nice material. It'll hold up to repeated play. Speaking of repeated play and component quality, everything about Valeria Card Kingdoms is top-notch. We've got linen finish on the cards. We have nice, thick card stock for our player boards and our little experience, or I should say additional tokens here. So everything is really nicely done. We've got a really nice insert. We have additional citizens and monsters and variant cards that are in here as well. I really love the insert because everything just pops right on in. Very, very easy to separate things. Another aspect I thought was pretty cool, obviously this box is designed for the other expansions, but usually they just kind of shove in some foam so the cards don't flop all over the place. And normally it's not spaced right, so the cards do fly out very easily. Here, we actually have some cardstock dividers as well. So I like how it was set up where it's like, okay, so here's the core game cards that go in here. Nice, snug fit. They're not going to flop all over the place when you have the box on its side or maybe upside down accidentally. So really, really well laid out and designed. Artwork is from the Miko, and we have seen the Miko do artwork for a variety of the Valeria series of games, and once again, top notch, very cool, really, really dig this. So the game itself, each of the players is going to represent a duke or duchess who is looking to be named the next ruler of Valeria. The king is dead. Long live the king or queen. So you're going to start off, each of the players is going to receive 2 duke cards, which will have a duke or duchess on them. Out of the 2 dukes, you're going to choose one of those cards. And each of these cards has a secret victory point condition on them. And I do want to point out, it's very important that you pay attention to your bonus victory points, because if you don't, I can guarantee you there is absolutely no way you are going to win this game. It is not unusual to have a player thinking they've run away with the game as far as victory points, and then we reveal our Duke or Duchess, and it turns out that somebody else has scored a boatload of victory points by way of the Duke card. So it's important to keep that in mind. So what you're doing is you are looking to become the next ruler of Valeria, and to do so, you must defend the realm and build up your influence and your holdings. So we've got a few different things going on the board here. We've got monsters up top, and the monsters are separated by region, and they'll increase in difficulty. Then we have 2 rows of citizens, and then down at the bottom we have domains, which can be purchased, and they have some prerequisites, which we'll talk about some of these icons and that. And many of these domains will actually have a special bonus that is available to the player who possesses that domain. So we have 3 different resources and victory points that we are going to track. So each of the players is going to get a player board like so. And they're going to start off with 2 gold, 0 strength, which is essentially military strength, 1 magic, and 0 victory points. And you're going to track these on this board. If you gain more than 10, you're actually just going to add on this little token here, plus 10, and there are a bunch of these, so you can just kind of line them up. So if you've got 30, you're going to have a couple of these, and then your gold's going to sit there. And of course, as you spend gold and strength and magic, you're going to remove these so that you're always tracking what you've got. As far as victory points, they are the name of the game. In order to be the winner, whoever's got the most victory points in the end is going to be named the new ruler of Valeria. In the case of a tie, the player who has the fewest cards in their tableau is going to be named the winner. So magic is kind of interesting in Valeria Card Kingdoms because unlike other Valeria games, magic is kind of a booster. You can augment your gold and your military strength by using magic. You don't actually really spend magic on different things. Now, some cards might allow you to spend a point of magic to do something, but for the most part, you're going to use your magic to boost either your gold or your military strength. So if you're purchasing something with gold and you're using magic to augment that total, you must always spend at least 1 gold. If you're using your military strength, same thing. If you're augmenting it with magic, you still must spend at least 1 military strength to do so. So you're going to use military strength to fight the monsters. You're going to use gold to purchase citizens, recruit citizens, and you're also going to use gold to add domains to your holding. So what goes on in the game? Well, first of all, you're going to have an active player, and the active player is going to roll 2 dice, 2 big, chunky, cut dice. I really like these dice. So you're going to roll these 2 dice. You're going to take your total, and you're going to utilize it as each individual die and the total. So as an example here, this is 6 and 6 and 12. To begin with, your player has the Duke card, and they also have 3 starter cards. They've got the Peasant, so that is a roll of 5, and it shows if you're the active player, what you get, and if you're an inactive player, so if you're not the one rolling the dice, that's what you get. Interestingly enough, there are some citizens that the benefit they provide to a non-active player is actually better than being the active player. Here, the Peasant does the same thing. You get 1 gold. Here, with the Knight, Doesn't matter if it's active or inactive, you would add 1 to your strength. Any other die roll is going to be the herald. So if you do not have a citizen that equals that number on the dice, then you're going to use the herald, and it's essentially a wild resource. So you can use this to add a gold, a military strength, or a point of magic. So as an example here, we've got 2 6s. So that means we would actually activate the knight, and we would get 1 point of military strength twice for each of the dice. Now, this is what's known as the harvest. And during the harvest, everybody gets to take part in this. So the 6, 6, 12, it's for everyone. So each player is going to utilize this. So let's say one of the players had a citizen that is the 12. Well, they would actually get whatever that resource or bonus or what have you from that card would provide. So as another example, you can have multiple citizens. So it's possible you have more than one peasant, you can have more than one knight, and each number is going to activate those multiple characters. So as an example here, if I had 2 knights, this would actually be scoring me 4 strength. But in this case, it's only the 2. So once again, as the active player, I don't have a 12. I don't have a butcher in this case. So I can use it to either get another gold, add more strength, or get a point of magic. So what I will do here is I will actually get another gold. So once the harvest is over, then the active player gets to take 2 actions. Now, these actions can consist of slaying a monster, recruiting a citizen, purchasing a domain, or getting a resource. So let's say I'm going to have my 2 actions. So we've got goblins, we've got skeletons, treants, owlbears, dire bears, and as you see, these strengths increase for us to defeat them. So, as an example here, this is a ruin icon. The skeleton needs a military strength of 2 to defeat. They are worth 2 victory points. And if I were to defeat the skeleton, I would get 1 gold. So, as one of my actions, let's say, okay, I'm going to attack the skeleton. I am going to spend my 2 strength. So then I have defeated that skeleton. I am going to now add it to my defeated monster stack, gain a gold, and gain 2 victory points. So I'm going to move my victory point marker. Let's push that up so you can see it. Over to 2. So that'd be one of my actions, and I put this here. So essentially, this is a tableau building game. Next, I still have 1 action left. I have 4 gold. So taking a look around, what should I add to my tableau? Well, I could get an archer. I could get basically anybody out here. So I think what I will do is I will spend, let's go with 2 gold and get myself a rogue. So to kind of give you an idea of the breakdown on these citizens, once again, we have the number. Then we have a symbol. And these symbols will count towards your victory point bonus, depending on the Duke, possibly. And they count as prerequisites towards your domains. And we'll take a look at the domains in just a moment. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to buy the rogue. I'm going to add this citizen to my dukedom. Whoops, why am I putting a 7 after in front of the 5? Just like so. That's it. I'm done with my turn. So the next player, they're going to roll the dice. and we get a 1, 2, 3. So we got the 1, we've got the 2, and grand total together, we have the 3. So myself personally, because I don't happen to have a 1 or a 2 or a 3 in my recruited citizens, I would then use the Herald to be able to get wild resources, and I would be able to get 3 wild resources based on those 3 dice. But then maybe the active player has a 1, a 2, a 3, what have you. They're going to get whatever that bonus happens to be. One of the aspects I really also dig about Valeria Card Kingdoms is there's a lot of variety here. I've got this set up. Essentially, this is the recommended setup when you're first going to learn the game. And this game is super easy to understand and wrap your head around. So we've got the recommended monsters out there in their locations. So we've got 5 different locations here. So these are the hills. Those are ruins. That's the forest. That is the valley. And then we have the mountains. We actually have 3 more regions. So there's a swamp. There's the barrens. Off the top of my head, I can't remember the other one. But we've got 8 different locations. So we've got different monsters. We also have various different exhausted cards, which I'll explain in just a sec, that have like monster events on them. It's a variant. So to start off, we have our citizens as well. We have the cleric. We've got the merchant, the mercenary, the archer, the peasant, and the knight. You always have a peasant and knight. Those are your 2 defaults that you always have because they are also your starters here. So you don't have anything different for peasant or knight. We have the rogue, champion, paladin, and the butcher. But we also have an entire set of other citizens. So we've got a monk, we've got a blacksmith, we've got the alchemist, we have the wizard, we've got the thief, who actually steals from other players. We've got the warlord, the priestess, and the miner. And one of the options is that you can actually kind of like have a mix of different citizens. So you could have citizens from the default setup as well as these other citizens as well. Then we got our domains. And the domains are going to show a prerequisite. You need to have this before you can purchase this domain. So this domain would be 7 gold. It's the Violet Thorn. This is going to be our special ability that this is going to give us. So during your action phase, when you slay a monster, you gain a magic. And then it's worth 3 victory points when you add the domain to your holdings. So we've got a variety of different domains as well. So there's a lot of like just different wrinkles in just the core game itself without any expansions that I thought was very, very cool. Because honestly, Daily Magic Games could have just said, okay, well, here's the citizens, here's the monsters, here's the domains. Enjoy. But we have some variety as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to have stacks. So as you can see, we got the cleric, we got the archer. So as you're recruiting citizens, if the stack runs out, you're going to use an exhausted card. And of course, there is also a variant where the exhausted card actually has a monster event on it. So it's got a monster to defeat. But what'll happen is the exhausted cards are actually one of the mechanisms to activate the end game. So depending on the number of players, you're going to multiply the number of players by 2. And that's the number of exhausted cards that are going to activate the end game. So as these stacks empty out, you're going to use exhausted cards. Now there's 2 other ways for the end game to come about. One of them is to defeat all the monsters, which Like in a 2-player game, is not going to happen. Or all the domains are gone. So there are 15 domains here. So if all the domains are gone, game ends. If all the monsters have been slayed, game ends. If 4 stacks have been exhausted, including the monsters, including the domains, the game will end. So what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that each of the players have had the same amount of turns. So for an example, if I'm the first player and we're playing a 3-player game and I end up having 6 of the exhausted cards out to activate the end game, the other 2 players are still going to get to take their turns. So it's not going to be, oh, that's it. I activated the end game. That's it. We're done. No, each of the players will still have an opportunity to have their turns, and then the game will conclude. At that point, we're going to total up our victory points. So we're going to tally up all the victory points that we have scored from killing monsters, as well as adding domains to our holdings. And then we're going to reveal our Duke or Duchess and find out what did we have as far as our bonus points. So as an example, Simon the Unclean scores 1 victory point for each hammer icon, like laborer icon. 1 for each military icon for the helmet here. And then they also get a victory point for every 2 gold, magic, and strength that are left over. Now we could add, let's take a look at a different Duke. We have We're Lord of Rogues. At the end of the game, you score 1 victory point for every hammer, 2 victory points for every dagger and key. So the rogue has a dagger and key on them. And then 1 victory point for every 3 gold, magic, and strength that are left over. So each of the Dukes has something a little bit different. And once again, I'm going to remind you, pay attention to the scoring for your Duke. All right. So once again, whoever's got the most victory points, once you've got the exhausted stacks, or all the monsters are gone, or all the domains are gone, whoever's got the most victory points, and in case of a tie, whoever has the fewest cards in their tableau is going to be the winner. And do want to point out, your domains do count towards your tableau. It's not just citizens. All right, that is effectively how you play Valeria Card Kingdoms. Let me swing on over to the other camera. I'm going to share some final thoughts and give this a review score. I've had a blast with Valeria Card Kingdoms. Everybody I've played it with has had a lot of fun with it as well. It's super easy to teach. It takes you 5 minutes. The only thing that sometimes throws people, once again, the Dukes. Don't forget, I can't stress that enough, or you're not going to win. And the little icons. Little icons kind of threw a couple of people off. But other than that, I mean, it is easy peasy. I love the fact that we've got a lot of optional variants that you can use. There's a solitaire variant. There's a 5-player variant. Makes things a little bit different. I did not play with 5 players, so I can't tell you how that plays. I love how we've got more monsters. We've got more citizens. You can mix things up. You can make things a little more difficult with tougher monsters and things like that. Just a lot going for the game. Love the artwork. I think the artwork is very cool, a lot of fun. And, of course, the component quality is really well done. I love the insert, the way all the cards will fit in there, and they're not going to fly all over the place. Man, just a blast. Really, really enjoyed this a lot. I have not checked out any of the expansions, and there are quite a lot. So as far as I understand, there are 4 boxed expansions, and then there's a bunch of like little. They look like they might be deck expansions that you can add to the proceedings. Like I said, I haven't been able to check out any of those, but they look like they'd be loads of fun and add even more variety to Valeria Card Kingdoms. My nephew Cameron just adored playing this game, and I gotta say, this is gonna have to sit in my car. So it's like, Uncle Jeff, do you got that Kingdom game? I could see it coming. So on a scale of 0 to 10, I give Valeria Card Kingdoms my highest recommendation. I give it a 10 out of 10. I think at the price, $35 MSRP, there is a lot of gaming packed in there. You're going to finish one game, and don't be surprised if everybody's like, hey, let's play that again. It's that good. I've enjoyed it that much. In fact, I got to be honest, I haven't been disappointed in any of the daily Magic games that I've had an opportunity to play. Not that I've played a ton, but I have played Thieves' Den and reviewed that. And I've also played Shadow Kingdoms of Valeria. Love that as well. So this new edition of Valeria Card Kingdoms is a winner. Don't miss out. All right, that's it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It will not only let you know when I upload videos such as this review, it'll also tell you when my live stream, the Gaming Gang Dispatch, airs Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. Although I do want to mention, as I record this, I am on a short hiatus, but the Gaming Gang Dispatch will return on April 25th. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for our latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And of course, until I see you next time, here's hoping each and every one of you gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.